Let's see. Are we muted? Okay, cool. Let's get this up. We're just gonna hop into it today. There is so much to cover. I could be on here 3 hours. Close that. Post is up. Okay. Let's see. It's showing we're live on everything. YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. Make sure you guys are dropping a like today. Oh, I didn't even save the changes. Uh-oh. That's not good. Okay, hold on. Okay, give me half a second. Copy. Paste. Copy. Paste. Okay. Let's try this. Okay, I think it should be working now. I think I should have the right title and description now. Sorry about that. Forgot to save changes before I went up. Yeah, let's hop right into it. Today is Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. This is episode number 53 of Addressing the Issues. So, the FBI detained one suspect in the Nancy Guthrie case. They are now 0 for 1. If you consider history, we should get the perpetrator and 2 more arrests. I believe it took 2 people in both the Charlie Kirk and the Brown University case before they found the correct person. So, I think if we just arrest 2 more people, it'll be the second one. Somebody's just got to volunteer. Just volunteer as tribute to be questioned. And then we can find the person finally on the next person. You don't recall they arrested some dude with a BB gun or detained some random Asian kid at Brown University. But yeah, if you look at history, we're close. We're not there yet. Let me fix this. There we go. We're close. We're just 2 away. It's a little bad that we can't find anybody on the first try anymore, but I guess what can you expect with a population as large as the United States, I guess? I don't know. It seems like it wouldn't be hard to find the person. Using a mouth flashlight, carries their gun directly in front of them. Strange stuff. But I suspect we're 2 people away. So don't get your hopes up when they say we found somebody. Again, wait until the time after that. Then you can be like, oh, this might be the person. That's just if history tells us anything. In another story, the FAA shut down El Paso airspace for 10 days this morning due to a suspected drone incursion from Mexico. It included that the United States may use deadly force against airborne aircraft in the area of the no-fly zone. Well, the 10-day shutdown was lifted after shooting down a party balloon that was reportedly a laser from the local military installation there in El Paso, or outside of El Paso, I should say. This is the first shutdown of this nature, 10 days since 9/11. We went full 9/11 airspace shutdown on a party balloon. I guess that's good use of resources. I saw this morning they were in contact with pilots and telling them, yeah, we're going to be shut down for 10 days. You should tell your bosses. And they were all surprised. But it's reopened now. It was just a party balloon. Just a party balloon caused an airspace shutdown. They thought it was a drone, so I guess there's that. Seems like tensions are rather heightened on the southern border right now. I guess especially with the Nancy Guthrie case, there is speculation from some that she was taken across the border, smuggled across. I don't know how likely that is. It could be true. It could be false, but it seems that tensions are rather heightened on the southern border right now. And it's probably a combination of things. Party balloons and kidnappings. But airspace is open. Everybody will be able to resume their regularly scheduled vacations to El Paso, I guess. It's probably more of like a connecting airport, I'm going to assume. I don't know how many people vacation in El Paso. Maybe if you do, give me a comment. Say, hey, I like going to El Paso for vacation. I don't know if I'd ever go there for vacation. I'd go to Texas. I wouldn't go to El Paso. That's just me, though. That's just me. Maybe some of you guys like El Paso for vacations. In another story, I guess it's an update from yesterday, Carrie Prejean Boller was fired from the Religious Liberty Commission for expressing her religious views. Shocker. This stems from her asking if being anti-Zionist was anti-Semitic, and she received answers of yes and undoubtedly from the rabbis on the panel. Now she's been fired. And I would ask you, now do you understand why there's a special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism that you pay for? You pay for with your tax dollars. You understand why there's laws in over half the states in the U.S. adopting the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism that calls for jail time? Are you getting it yet? It's to control the population. It's to prevent people from asking questions. Now, why would you want to prevent people from asking questions? Well, probably because you're doing the exact thing that people want questions answered about. That's my assumption. Why would you not want people to ask questions if you're doing everything in good faith? Well, I think you wouldn't care if people asked questions if you were doing things in good faith. This is why I talked about Jesus' description of the end times yesterday. It talks about deception. The deception of here is here. We live in the age of deception. It talks about wars and rumored wars. I think you can guess what these are. Iran, World War III. It says nation will rise against nation and kingdom will rise against kingdom. Consider Israel's claims, including Benjamin Netanyahu, that the U.S. is the new Rome. Look up the book Rome and Jerusalem. See what it's about. Actually, I can tell you about what it's about. It's by Moses Hess. It's a study in Jewish nationalism and laid the groundwork for communism and Zionism, which called for racial purity and victor over Semitic peoples. Now, where else do we see this? Well, we would see this in communist Russia with the Bolsheviks, who committed the Holodomor, a mass genocide of Christians. I'm going to talk about some of Hess's friends, his views. Hess helped draft the Communist Manifesto. He was quoted in the French paper Le Droit de Vivre, stating Jewry is the mother of Marxism. He said that himself. Some of his friends that he worked with on the Communist Manifesto include Karl Marx, a descendant of rabbis who many deem to be the father of socialist communism, advocated for a central banking monopoly and championed abolition of private property, nationalities, family inheritance, and Christianity. This is the playbook we're getting. There's people that are too, I'll just say it, dumb to realize that socialist communism is the end goal here. They champion for it. It takes away all their freedom. And they say, oh, well, it works in Iran, it worked in Russia, it worked in China. It didn't. It just caused death. Lots and lots of death. They champion this idea. Maybe it's because it's what they worship, death. But it calls for racial purity, abolishment of Christianity, things that a normal person wouldn't be okay with. Nevertheless, a person in a free state with freedom of religion. But you understand what this is about. It's about control. I'll tell you this over and over again. All this is about control. They want control of government, control over money, control over you. And they use these apparatuses such as communism, such as money, time and time again. And we have people that are too silly to understand what it's all about. They think it's human rights in the streets of Minneapolis. It's not about that. It's far deeper than you understand, yet you're championing it. They use people as puppets. Don't be a puppet. Don't be a puppet for communism. All you get is death. You're not gonna be an oligarch in a communist society coming from nothing. You're not. You have to have it before. This is what people don't understand. It's about control. They want to control your speech, control your actions. Like I was saying yesterday, this is why I talked about Jesus' depictions of the end times. Famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. I guess you should look out for these. There's earthquakes. I don't know if they're irregular at this point. Famines. There are famines. Actually, right now. Pestilences. I guess we can all look out for disease. I guess that's one of the few things left. It says you will be handed over to the courts and flogged in the synagogues. This is where the speech laws come in. This is the special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism. That's that. That's what that is. That's the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition of anti-Semitism. That's what that is. I mean, honestly, what are we missing at this point? Pestilence and a couple uncontacted tribes in the Amazon. I mean, the main deception, the main apparatus of this is going to be AI. The reason I say this is it knows how humans work. It has pattern recognition of humans' work. It has the ability to manipulate humans. But what I would say, it's just get right with God. Christ is King. That's the answer to all this. Christ is King. As you know, speaking of manipulation, manipulate was one of Epstein's favorite words. He discusses how to manipulate people with AI in his emails. These emails mention manipulation over 500 times. Another of his favorite words, seemingly, is genetics. It's mentioned over 1,000 times, including genetic modification. It's like he's a eugenicist. He may have also claimed that he hoped to seed the human race with his DNA. Strange stuff. It's been claimed that on multiple occasions, starting in the early 2000s, Mr. Epstein told scientists and businessmen about his ambitions to use his New Mexico ranch as a base where women would be inseminated with his sperm and would give birth to his babies, according to 2 award-winning scientists and an advisor to large companies and wealthy individuals. These were all people who Epstein told about these things. So maybe he was a manipulative eugenicist, kind of like a modern-day Joseph Mengele. But it seems to all be about control. Controlling your thoughts, controlling your speech, controlling genetics. I mean, it's really weird times we're living through. Really weird stuff. It's not normal by any stretch of the imagination. You'd be concerned about genetic modification, eugenics, manipulation. Something that comes up more than probably half the words in this: manipulation. You want to manipulate people. Look, makes me think of, Karl Marx and what's his face? Moses Hess. I mean, that's what they were about, manipulation through communist socialism or whatever, social communism, madness, the madness that people are puppets to, and they don't understand what it is. They don't understand that Holodomor killed tens of millions of people, particularly Christians. That one's not taught as much in the history books as the Holocaust. And I think everybody understands why at this point. Because it doesn't matter if it happens to Christians. So my answer, just like I said, get right with God. Christ is King. It's the only answer to any of this. Don't be manipulated. Pray that you aren't manipulated. Don't fall victim. Don't fall victim. We'll move on. I mean, obviously this will be a continuing story until we get all 6 million, crazy number, 6 million files from the Epstein files. They're still slowly trickling out every single day. Ever so slowly. And I think my honest opinion on this is once they're all out, they're going to be out for maybe 48 hours, and they're all just going to disappear. They're all just going to disappear. And say, oh, we uploaded them all. You could have looked through them all and saved them all yourself. It's like, 40 terabytes of information they have? You should have just downloaded it yourself and saved it. We only had to have it up at one time, and then we just took it all down. That's how I see this is going to go. At least that's my opinion. And maybe they leave it up there. Maybe the house of cards comes crashing down. I think that's going to be the only way this goes. House of cards comes crashing down. That's what this is. It's a house of cards built on evil, evil, evil acts. Despicable, disgusting acts. I guess on a related note, Pam Bondi was grilled on Capitol Hill today. This comes after yesterday. The victims wrote her a letter. It says, "We are writing to you as survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse and trafficking network. One of the main points they have is we must be clear this release does not provide closure. It feels instead like a deliberate attempt to intimidate survivors, punish those who came forward, and reinforce the same culture of secrecy that allowed Epstein's crimes to continue for decades. Survivors are not asking the Justice Department to invent evidence. We are asking the department to release evidence that already exists, to explain why millions of pages remain withheld, and to stop treating accountability as optional when the perpetrators are wealthy and well-connected." Continues on, "First, the redactions and disclosures in this release are reckless and dangerous. Survivors' names and identifying details have once again been exposed. This places survivors in jeopardy and sends a chilling message to others and confirms many's worst fears. Reporting abuse will not protect you, it will only expose you." It continues on. It says, "Second, this release remains incomplete in a way that is both staggering and indefensible. The government has acknowledged that millions of pages are being withheld with no explanation of what is missing, why it is missing, or if the rest will be released." Continues on. It says, "Third, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche has suggested that it isn't a crime to party with Mr. Epstein. Survivors are not alleging guilt by association, and to suggest that they are is a profound dismissal of the serious crimes that were reported, investigated, and buried. The department's actions to date mirror the very dynamics Epstein relied upon: powerful actors protected by secrecy, while victims are exposed, scrutinized, and made to bear the consequences." The end says, "This is not over. We will not stop until the truth is fully known and every enabler and perpetrator is held accountable. Signed, many victims." So that's what they wrote to her yesterday. Today, she went up there screeching, filibustering for 5 hours, yelling over everybody. It's time for her to resign in disgrace, redacting people that are implicated in crimes and not redacting victims. You know, she was the Florida Attorney General from 2011 to 2019. This is when victims were challenging the secrecy and validity of the 2008 plea deal in the state. And nothing happened for these victims until 6 months after she left the Florida Attorney General position. So it seems like she's been running cover for Epstein for about 15 years. And she went up there today and just started screeching, hollering, and yelling over everybody, not answering questions, ad hominem attacks, calling one Democrat congressperson a washed-up loser, and that they're not even a lawyer. She had a line of questioning from Thomas Massie where she was once again screeching over him. Because I caught you red-handed, this is bigger than Watergate. This cover-up spans decades and you are responsible for this portion of it. The email was a list of names not to release. What did the Department of Justice do with this email? They released this email in the document production. It says literally the worst thing you could do to survivors. Next document I want to show you, the title is Child Sex Trafficking Co-Conspirators. It was fully redacted. I'm going to unredact them here. It says Les Wexner is this, the third exhibit that I have. These are documents that we need, but you're over-redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Bondi says, I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times. Massie says, yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator. Bondi, within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back. Massey says, within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed. Bondi says, did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years? Massey says, I'm glad you're asking about Merrick Garland because this is bigger than Watergate. This goes over 4 administrations. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush. This cover-up spans decades, and you are responsible for this portion of it. Which is completely accurate. Completely accurate. There's one more moment that I want to find. I guess I lost it while I was getting prepared today. Let's see. She's asked... Here. She was asked about something along the lines of why she is covering for pedophiles. Her response was, the Dow is over 50K right now. The NASDAQ is smashing records. That's what we should be talking about. This has nothing to do with the stock market. Or maybe it does because all these people are business leaders. And it is a house of cards. But when asked, why she hasn't indicted any of Jeffrey Epstein's clients in this trafficking ring, her response is, the Dow is over 50K right now. Do you think that matters to any of the victims whatsoever? You think they're huge day traders? You think they care that the NASDAQ is smashing records? No, they don't. They want justice. It's absolutely crazy that was the deflection she chose. Especially given that, at this point, a majority of people can't even afford stocks. They can barely afford rent. The only people that are buying these are oligarchs at this point. People that are richer than the rest of us, richer than the average Joe. But I guess that's where her mind goes. It doesn't matter that there's victims. The only thing that matters is that the co-conspirators are doing well in the stock market, I guess. It was an absolute clown show that she put on the Capitol today. An absolute clown show. Deflection, filibustering, screaming over people. We just want answers. We don't care that the Dow is up over 50,000 when we can't get justice in our own country. She's yelling about people being good stock traders that sit on the board. She didn't yell about how I'm going to prosecute the co-conspirators. There was a undercover video, I think it was from O'Keefe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Where she said, we're going through all the files now and we're going to prosecute people. That was a year ago, probably now. Now we're just concerned about where the stock market's at. We're not worried about justice. I think she's just covering for her friends like she has for the last 15 years. I guess you can't teach an old dog new tricks or something like that. But I'd argue Kash Patel, he should resign in disgrace just like Pam Bondi. He claimed that there were no co-conspirators and that he would bring the case to the people that these victims were trafficked to yesterday. This was a little less than a year ago. But it's 100 plus yesterdays ago. There's been a lot of yesterdays that this case should have been brought on. We've missed plenty of yesterdays, Cash. We've missed plenty of yesterdays, Pam Bondi. And also, Lutnick should probably go too. Should probably also resign. Lying to Congress that him and Epstein never spoke again after Epstein was charged in 2008. They never spoke again, but they only engaged in business, philanthropy, and social events together after. So it seems like a lot more people than we're comfortable admitting are tied up in this. It seems, it's just like a house of cards. They're holding it together with hopes and dreams right now. But, I don't know. It's hard to wrap your head around something this grand, something this large, that's just been put on the back burner for so long. We've known about it since 2008, and nobody's ever received actual justice. Someone who's interested in eugenics, manipulation, genetic modification, sharing his DNA with the human race. I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around something this evil, sinister. And maybe that's the issue with these people. They don't understand how evil this whole thing is. They don't understand that they are implicated in evil by running cover for evil. I guess that's where we sit currently with the Epstein saga, the cover running saga, the manipulation saga. It's evil. It's just evil. I have nothing good to say about these people. I don't think anybody does. At least not anymore. It's going to be really hard to appreciate anything good they do when you know they do these bad things. It makes it really hard. But we'll move on. I'm sure we'll be continuing to cover this into the distant future. I mean, we're only halfway there. There's no possible way that you could have read through all 3 million by now. But like I said earlier, I do suspect, they'll be up at the end for probably 48 hours, and then they'll all be taken down, and we'll be forced to act like none of this never happened. It's part of the manipulation. It's part of our goldfish memories that I guess are I wouldn't say forced upon us, but have been normalized for us. Watching 1-minute videos on TikTok. TikTok's a whole nother story in this saga, but it's made our brains mush. We forget things. The other day I forgot Thomas Crooks' name. He literally tried to assassinate the president and killed a man in Butler, Pennsylvania. But I'd forgotten, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that's forgetting such impactful events. Events that in any other time period would have turned the country on its head. But we'll leave it there. We'll be back again soon. I can almost guarantee it. So in another story, the U.S. is preparing a second aircraft carrier for the Middle East. This aircraft carrier is believed currently to be the USS George H.W. Bush. So it looks like we're going to have 2 carriers deployed in the Middle East. This is the first time in a long time that we've had 2 deployed in that area. This is on the same day that Iran burned an effigy of Ball. That happened today. It's the 47th anniversary of the victory of the Islamic Revolution in Iran. This follows a night of fireworks across the capital, Tehran, last night. And it's on the same day that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was in D.C. asking for more support for a war. Yeah, it's just crazy how all these coincidences happen. I mean, Baal is apparently one of the gods of sacrifice. You offer sacrifices to him, children particularly. Iran burns it. And I don't know, you can look up your own research on Baal. I don't feel like getting into it on my show. I don't want to get in any more trouble than this will already get me in. Yeah, look up Baal while you're in your free time. That's an interesting one. Look up Moloch. There's another interesting one. Look up those things. See what you think. See how those tie into the Epstein files. Child sacrifice. I mean, child sacrifice has been practiced through history. And now it's being done by the elites in our society. They're not being punished. So it's not hard to, it's hard to not say, good on Iran for burning the child sacrifice god. It makes them a little more likable, I'm not going to lie. I also don't believe that there's any reason to go fight them in Iran anyways. It doesn't help us at all. Also don't believe that the protests are in any way organic in Iran. I think it was a intelligence manipulation operation. That's why all these random equipment, things of this nature, guns, satellites, were ready to be dropped in Iran within a week of the start of them. Didn't seem organic. The numbers were overinflated. Yet half a world away, we're supposed to say, "Oh, this is awful. It's grassroots. There's no information coming out, but it's grassroots." It wasn't grassroots. It was an intelligence operation. Look into it if you'd like. People are being used as puppets around the world. They don't even realize it. But we have no reason to fight Iran. They don't have any means of striking us. The only way that they do is through people that were allowed into the country under the Biden regime, these migrants, refugees, whatever you want to call them. It's the only real way they have of attacking us. And, that's all good. That's fine and dandy. We've got to go over there and do war when the enemy is within. It makes no sense to me. You don't have a missile that can hit the U.S. We're really not in danger. That's my opinion, though. Honestly, if they can't strike us, what need do we have to go over there and do war? It's just Iraq or Afghanistan all over again on a much larger scale, probably much more dangerous. And who's pulling the strings for it? I'll leave that for you to determine. We'll move on to our final story. A Gunperson in Canada yesterday shot or injured 25 people killed 9 others at a school. I believe it was British Columbia, Canada. They called them a gun person in the media. Now you may ask, what is a gun person? Is it a person that likes guns? No, it is a gunman dressed as a woman. Gunman dressed as a woman. It was a transgender once again. It seems that every school shooter in history is either on hormones or SSRIs. This goes all the way back to Columbine. All the way back to Columbine. SSRIs or hormones. Hormones are way more prevalent now. SSRIs used to be what they were all on. Now it's probably a combination of the both. A whole bunch of mentally unstable people taking out their anger, their anguish of being mentally unstable on normal children. I saw a post earlier. It says, without woke ideology, you would have a 0% chance of your kid dying in a mass school shooting in the US or Canada in the last 3 years. Which is correct. The last 3 were male to female, female to male, and one that seemed to be taking hormones at the time. We never get the information were they actually on hormones or not, because that would create an issue for the woke community, the gender changing identity, the gender dysphoria community, as I call them. It's a mental illness. All these people are mentally ill. They're sold to us as gun persons. It's a dude taking hormones in a dress who thinks he's a girl. Obviously needs psychological help. But we fill them up with SSRIs. We numb their emotions, and they go into a school and harm as many people as they can. They harm them, they harm their families. I mean, you even have the Charlie Kirk case. The dude is a male to female lover. It's just this community is crazy. It is a gender dysphoria insane community. I mean, you shouldn't be transing kids in the first place. You shouldn't be giving them mind-altering substances. We don't go around and dose kids with MDMA or whatever, MDMA, and send them to school. We don't give them bath salts, send them to school, expect them to be a normal functioning human. You shouldn't give them hormones either. You shouldn't give them SSRIs. It messes with your brain, and then when you mess with people's brains, this is what we get time and time and time again. All the way back to Columbine, all the way up to yesterday. I mean, try to find me one of these and prove that they weren't on SSRIs. Because there's a lot more evidence that points that they are. A lot more evidence that points that they are on hormones. Men dressing as women, women dressing as men. And the thing is, I mean, the craziest part about it is we allow this even though it makes these people infertile. We allow somebody to make a life-changing decision before they even understand what they are actually. They'll never have kids. What I've heard is the greatest joy of life, having children. They'll never have that joy. Instead, we give them this quick burst of joy and transing them, giving them SSRIs, numbing them. We don't treat them. I guess make asylums great again. That's where I stand. I mean, these people should not be going in the schools on mind-altering substances committing these acts. And that's what both of these are. Hormones are mind-altering substances. SSRIs, I can confirm, are mind-altering substances. Get off all of them. Get off all of them. If you're on them now, get off. Talk to your doctor. Say, I'm done with this. I want to feel again. I want to be normal again. Because once you do it, I mean, you feel better. I can attest to this. You feel better once you get off of all these mind-altering madness. And you don't feel like going into a school as a man dressed as a woman, intending to harm all your classmates because I guess you're jealous of them, jealous of their normalcy, jealous that they can think freely. But yeah, reported in the media in Canada as a gun person. It's not a gun person, it's a gun man, a man with a gun dressed as a woman on mind-altering substances, ruining his classmates' lives, ruining their school career. And that's what it is. It's nothing different. It's evil all through. Actually, I haven't found them yet because I haven't been able to go through all 3 million files that have already been dropped. But there are talks about transing people and the Epstein files. Like, it's like all connected or something. It's absolutely absurd. It's absolutely absurd. That's where we are for right now. Obviously, we'll have updates on most of these stories into the future. The Epstein stuff, the Iran stuff. I mean, it's not leaving. It's only getting closer. But yeah, if you would, go ahead and drop a like on today's episode. Subscribe on Yumble. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Kick. Follow on Rumble. What else? I guess we'll have a programming note. I will not be here once again this weekend. I'm going back to do some racing videography. So I'll be gone Friday and Saturday this week, meaning I'll miss you those days, guys. It's unfortunate, but like I always say, bills have to be paid. You can't freeload your entire life, so I'll be out there this weekend doing some racing videography. It's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy hanging out with you guys probably more. Even getting prepared for these all hours of the day, no matter how depressing the news is, I always just, intend to lead you guys in the right direction. I try. Maybe I mislead you every once in a while. But I do try and lead everybody in the right direction. Open your minds a little bit. Get you a little bit closer to whatever truth is concealed in all this madness. That's the main goal. And once again, I appreciate you guys all for tuning in today, watching, hanging out, liking, subscribing, following. As many of you always come in every day, so I appreciate that a lot. Like I've said for a long time, your viewership is most important. You've got to defeat the algorithm somehow. Although it seems to be trying to throttle my stuff recently. But that's fine. That's fine. It is what it is. So if you would share today's broadcast. I mean, people can watch it back through tonight at 8, 12 in the morning, whenever. Yeah, if you guys would share as well, I'd appreciate it a lot. Or, even clip parts that you think would be pertinent, relevant to others. I appreciate that as well. It'll actually help me out as well. I'll clip them and post them back. I'm a pretty good guy. I try to be. I don't know, I shouldn't say. I try to be. I don't know that I am. I just try. I put my best foot forward in doing that. I hope you guys enjoyed the day. Make sure you're leaving a like. Not many chats today. Lots of bots on Kick, which is, it's whatever. Maybe I can figure out how to fix that. Maybe not. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you again. Today's Wednesday. I'll be here tomorrow, Thursday. Tomorrow at 4:45, I'll be live. But Friday, Saturday, there will be no episodes, and then we'll be back Monday at 4:45. So that's the programming note. Which I hope you guys will drop a like. I'll see you again tomorrow at 4:45 Eastern Time. With probably more on Iran, more on Epstein, and whatever else happens during the day. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, before I do that, I guess it's too late for before now, but to my people on the East Coast, I hope you make it home safe. To my people further west, I hope you finish up your workday strong and get home safe as well. I'll see you guys again tomorrow at 4:45. Thanks for watching.